Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. 5 persons have been killed in an attack on a convoy in the Momo division of the northwest region of Cameroon. According to information, the divisional delegate of communication for Momo division is part of the 5 persons who've lost their lives, and another school is been burned by a fire incident in less than 24 hours in the Vako division of the southwest region of Cameroon. It brings to 2 the number of schools burned within 24 hours in that part of the southwest region. We shall be giving you the exact cause of the fire incident as of the information from the school in this edition of Information. Torture by parents on their child in the economic capital city Douala. Images going viral across social media in the Republic of Cameroon shall be yours in this edition of the news. An investigative report of Equinoxe Television reveals that the parents of the 7-year-old child inflicted pains on the child, qualified as unacceptable. We shall also be talking the role of the diaspora in maintaining peace and stability in the country. But you want to know more about the recent resolution of the Senate of the United States of America. It will be part of Talking Point with our guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. Thanks for joining us on the primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. We're live from Cameroon's economic capital city Douala, Equinoxe Central News Desk. My name is Armstrong Sander. We begin with one of our top stories, the fire incident at the St. Joseph's College, Sase, in the Vako division of the southwest region of Cameroon, to say that the dormitory section of St. Joseph's College, Sase, in Buya subdivision of the southwest region of Cameroon, has been burnt down in an unfortunate fire incident that broke out in the early hours of today. As you can see their images there, the fire incident broke out at about 9 a.m. today. Call it in the late hours of the Wednesday morning, January the 6th, 2020, and the fire incident reportedly burnt down several dormitory rooms, leaving enormous material damage despite effort by students of the Sase College or that is St. Joseph's College, to remove their materials and belongings from the burning rooms. Some of their belongings were successfully taken out of the burning dormitory rooms, but fire reportedly brought a lot to flames. The flames will later be contained from spreading further by soldiers of the firefighting brigade dispatched from their base at Sonara in Limbe, chief town of the Vako division of the southwest region of Cameroon. An official communique from Reverend Father Armstrong D, principal of the historic Catholic-run institution, said the incident was caused by an electrical fault. The fire incident at Sase comes less than 24 hours after a similar incident at another Catholic-run school in Bota in Limbe, still in the Vako division of the southwest region of Cameroon. And we leave you with the sad situation that got students running to save their properties from the burning dormitory rooms as captured by these cameras.
Casualty in St. Joseph's College. Jesus.
The unfortunate fire incident at the St. Joseph's college in Sasein Boya subdivision of the Fako division, southwest region of Cameroon at about 9 a.m. today, according to the principal of the school, Father Armstrong D, who says the fire must have been caused or was caused by an electrical fault in the school. It should be recalled that no human casualty was recorded in the course of the fire incident, according to the official communique from the school. The school also indicates that the students whose dormitory got affected were transferred to other dormitories of the school, and however, calling on the parents to be calm and assured that their kids are currently receiving lessons in the school in Buya. The principal also indicated that the fire started at a time when students were not in their dormitory rooms but were in classes receiving lectures from teachers. We shall be coming back to that in subsequent editions of information on Equinoxe radio and television. And I will talk something else. A video circulating on social media showing a stepfather torturing his 7-year-old son Joachim has brought about widespread condemnation across Cameroon and even throughout the African continent. Interrogated about the act, the stepfather said it is as a result of his son's frequent nocturnal movement. Neighbors have added that the video circulating is nothing compared to what the boy goes through frequently from the parents. Immaculate Fogwe takes us deeper into the shocking situation.
A 7-year-old boy being tortured by his stepfather, Joachim, has been turned upside down in a barrel with his 2 legs being squeezed and equally receiving slaps. Little Joachim's cry for help is all in vain. This inhumane treatment is taking place in a locality known as Boko Saint-Tropez in the Douala 3 subdivision. The close to 3 minutes video, secretly taken on the 22nd of December by neighbor, has brought about widespread condemnation. The neighbor, who wants to stay anonymous, says the child is tortured on regular basis. The video you have just watched does not even show half of the treatment this child experiences. We have seen scenes worse than this. Sometimes he ties the child's hands and legs with chains. He is equally left for several days without food. So he skips over the fence so as to beg for food from neighbors. 7-year-old Joachim is schooling at the Valerine and Honorine Nursery and Primary School. Though the director of the school says he is not aware of the inhumane treatment inflicted on the boy, he reveals that his performance in school has drastically dropped. He adds that Joachim was absent during exams, so he had to recede. Talking on phone with Sir Gabriel Com, the man behind the violent act, he explained that Joachim is fond of going out at night without taking permission. Neighbors have expressed the need for authorities to react so as to preserve the life of this little boy. The case has been reported at the Regional Delegation of Social Affairs in the Littoral region of Cameroon.
An unfortunate incident. And now we talk something else. The attack on a convoy in the Momo division of the northwest region of Cameroon. The attack that left 5 persons dead, including the divisional delegate of communication for the Momo division, who was part of the convoy that accompanied the divisional officer for Momo. The duo, you can see in your images there, he was accompanied by military officials and heads of services of the Momo division to Njikwa and Andek subdivisions for the installation of the newly appointed divisional officers. The those you see in your images there, they are divisional officers of Njikwa subdivision and that of Andek subdivision, all of the Momo in the northwest region of Cameroon. The installation ceremony that took place yesterday upon their return back to Bengwe chieftown of the Momo division of the northwest region of Cameroon. Their convoy came under an attack believed to be from separatists, an attack that left 5 persons dead. And of course, according to information from the northwest region, one of the persons who died in the attack is the Momo divisional delegate of communication. We are still awaiting an official communique from administrative and security officials of the northwest region of Cameroon detailing those who are also involved in the attack, but it is confirmed that 5 persons died in the course of the attack. It was also confirmed a few minutes ago by state media that 5 persons died in the attack. As you can see there, that is during the installation of the duo for Njikwa subdivision. The duo for Njikwa subdivision was the first assistant divisional officer for the Momo division before his appointment as duo for Njikwa subdivision, and the man installed as divisional officer for Andek subdivision 1 was also the second assistant senior divisional officer for the Momo division before being appointed as the divisional officer for Andek subdivision. They were all successfully installed, and upon their return back to the divisional chieftown, they came under an attack. We shall be coming back to this information in subsequent editions of information on Equinoxe radio and television. And now we'll talk something else. Inhabitants of Lindi in the Douala 5 subdivision say they are waiting the council, expecting the council officials of the Douala 5 subdivision to respect their promises made with regards to the tarring of stretches in Lindi and also the provision of basic social amenities. These are the major problems of inhabitants of Lindi, as painted in the following report by Equinoxe. And of course, we shall be coming back to that report in subsequent editions of information. Now we talk the installation of the bishop of the Buea Diocese, Bishop Michael Bibi, who was officially named yesterday following a decision from the Holy Father, and the decision of the Pope was read by the Archbishop of the Bamenda Metropolitan Archdiocese, Bishop Andrew Kia, who is also the head of the Bamenda Ecclesiastical Province. Take a listen to an extract of Bishop Michael Bibi shortly after his official appointment as Bishop of Buea, a diocese where he has been at the head as an apostolic administrator for over a year.
January 5th, 2021, the Holy Father Pope Francis has appointed as Bishop of Buea His Excellency Monsignor Michael.
I've been in the Diocese of Buea as the Apostolic Administrator for almost 1 year now. I think I came here, I met people of faith, I met very generous people, I met committed priests, religious and laity, and they have given me lots of support within this period. And the bishops of the Bamenda Ecclesiastical Province, together with the National Episcopal Conference, we have all been working together. I want to use this opportunity to thank each and everybody for all the support and assistance that I have received, and at the same time to call on each and every one of them to continue to pray for me and to give me the support that I need so that together we continue to carry on with the work of evangelization and catechesis in the diocese. The Bishop Emeritus Emmanuel Bush, who has been very, very supportive, and he is present in the diocese. I know he will continue to support me so that we continue to serve the people of God.
And now we take you to Garwa in the north region of Cameroon, where some men of the underworld are specialized in terrorizing inhabitants of the north regional chieftain Garwa have been apprehended by gendarmerie officials. Charles Equinoxe tells us more. We are taking you to the north regional chieftain Garwa, where some men of the underworld specialized in stealing and harassing inhabitants of the North Regional Chieftain Garwa were apprehended by elements of the National Gendarmerie, as recounted in the following report by Charles Equinoxe.
4 individuals between the age range of 25 to 32 years were apprehended by the police force in Garwa, North Region of Cameroon. The individuals are accused of attempting to rob some microfinance institutions in the town, but were unsuccessful due to a rapid intervention operation under the command of Aqua Mbembe Celestin. I have decided to invite the press and media to the Judicial Police Unit in Garwa to make it public that we have apprehended 4 burglars who were about to break into microfinance organizations in the town. After having tracked and apprehended these presumed criminals, the Judicial Police in Garwa were informed that they are wanted men in Yaoundé for committing the same act, says the commander of the Judicial Police. We were informed that they are wanted men at the Judicial Police in Yaoundé for breaking into some microfinances, notably express exchange agencies, where they stole about 40 million francs CFA. The commander says the fight against theft in Garwa will continue, as the town will not be a hideout for bandits. Meantime, the presumed bandits are in detention, waiting for justice to take its course.
A senior divisional officer has been installed to head the Mfundi division of the Central Region of Cameroon. The installation ceremony took place today in the nation's political capital city. It was chaired by the governor of the Central Region of Cameroon, Nassari Paul Biya. It should be recalled that the senior divisional officer for the Mfundi division died recently. Details in the following extracts of the governor of the Central Region, Nassari Paul Biya.
Yeah, and the SGO is coming at a time where the prefecture of Mfundi has been vacant for quite some time, and he has to take up with a lot of steam to make sure that things get working, because with the absence of the former who died, things have not been working the way we wanted it to be. So we have brought a young dynamic somebody who will be able to bring in some new ways of doing things so that things can go ahead. So I am calling on him to be sure that the first thing he has to tackle is the cleanliness of the town and the urban disorder, especially as we are going to enter the African competitions in the few days to come. And secondly, he has to be sure that there is security in the town, that people are sure that when they sleep, they'll be able to get up in the morning without thieves harassing them. And the third of it all is for him to make sure that this coronavirus, people wear their masks and respect the barrier measures, because the head of state should not be talking alone. I want to use this opportunity to say that you don't enter public offices now in the region without your mask. You have to wear mask before coming either to the region, to the prefecture, or to the sub-prefectures. Thank you.
And I will take you to talk sports now, talking about the balance sheet of the Intermediate Lions of Cameroon. Few days to the start of CHAN, that is the African Nations Championship in Cameroon, as doubt surrounds the readiness of the intermediate lions of Cameroon barely 9 days to CHAN 2020 to be staged in Cameroon. According to a football technician, Ari Manga, this is due to the Lions' 2-1 defeat in the hands of their counterpart from Niger and a 1-0 tie with Zimbabwe. He says the intermediate Lions of Cameroon are lacking in a strong attack line and also the conservation of formula, which might also get them not ready to be able to retain the trophy in Cameroon. Details with Innocent in the following sports report. And of course, we shall be coming back to that report. And now we take you to Limbe in the Fako division of the southwest region of Cameroon, where officials in Limbe have intensified preparations ahead of CHAN 2021. According to municipal officials in Limbe, there is need for makeshift structures across the city to be destroyed. They have also embarked on disinfecting public places in Limbe ahead of CHAN 2021. And also in Mutengeni, still in the Fako of the southwest region of Cameroon, an inter-quarter football finals dubbed Coco football tournament has ended. It was organized by officials of the area to call on youth to embrace peace, living together, and also see in the need to work on peaceful initiatives. It was also an occasion for the officials of the area to call on youth in Mutengeni to embrace entrepreneurial spirit. It should be recalled that it started with competitions of teams which were selected from across the town of Mutengeni, and the football tournament ended in favor of another team still within Mutengeni. We shall be coming back exclusively to this information on detailed account in subsequent editions of information on Equinoxe Television. Talking Points is up next. Stay with us. Thanks for joining us on Talking Points. We are receiving Dr. Pugazak. He is a legal mind also, and of course we shall be talking key issues in this edition of our Talking Points. Doc, thanks for accepting our invitation.
Well, thank you for having me, and good evening to everyone.
It's a unique privilege to have you, considering the fact that you know us based here in Cameroon, though you work as a lawyer in the United States of America and Cameroon. And so it's a privilege for us to have you on our set when you are present in Cameroon.
It is an honor to be here. I do follow you, and congratulations for the good job you've been doing. And it's a real honor to be here. And while I'm in Cameroon, and even when I'm not in Cameroon, I still try to stay connected. So thanks again for having me. It is a pleasure.
While in Cameroon, you are shocked seeing a stepfather treating a stepson the way he did. I talk about the report you just watched. It went wide on social media. It went viral.
It is very concerning. It is very concerning, even though the more we learn about the case, it sheds a lot more light to see that at school, for example, they're talking about the parent who's attentive, who's loving. There are some reports that say that the parent is actually talking about some kind of just being angry at the moment, but it's really hard to watch. It's a very difficult video, and this kind of brings me to what I've been advocating and I've been praying for Cameroon, to have citizens who are involved, because somebody took that video and put that video to the public, and that's why the outcry is out there, and we need more of that. We cannot accept that kind of behavior from a parent to his child or even a stepchild. It is totally unacceptable, and I hope the judicial system takes note and does what needs to be done, because that needs to be corrected and needs to be reprehended.
You are a Cameroonian, but living in the United States of America, also a legal mind, thank God. Do we have such happenings within the American society?
Oh yes, there are. There are. Maybe not to the same extent, but there are things that happen like that. That's why you need a judicial system that is active, that is strong, that is trustworthy, so that when something like this comes to mind and comes to the public, you have the prosecutors take on the case and make sure that justice is done. This happens in the US, it happens in Europe, it happens in Cameroon, but the difference probably is that in Cameroon it is less reported, it is less talked about, and I'm very thankful to the neighbor who was able to pick that up on video and then put that to the public, because it needs to be talked about, it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be justice needs to be done.
Now, you saluted the act of that neighbor, that citizen who decided to take the videos, place it on social media. It's gone viral. People are condemning. And now, above that, what else can neighbors, can citizens do?
I will start by calling on parents and then step parents. We have to be more responsible. We have to be more consequential. We have to be more aware of our acts. So I'll start there. Now, as a bystander and somebody, as a neighbor who sees something like that, make sure you see it and say it. Don't say it and just say it's not my issue. Because if it's happening to another child today, it might happen to your child tomorrow. So make sure that we report that and make sure that justice is done in all and every single one of these cases. And that's what judicial systems like in the US, being very active, those things cannot go untalked about. They are addressed, because somebody that sees something like that, they always say something. And in the process of saying something, most likely you will get justice done.
Now, legally, who does the law give authorizes to take actions in this situation?
In this case, the prosecutor gotta act, right? It is public out there. We have a video, so the prosecutor gotta act because it is against the public. And as the representative of the public and the state, they have to bring a case. They have to make sure that they hear it. Again, I was asking about the case all day long, and it sounds like there's a lot more to the case than the video. But the video is definitely extremely troubling, and the prosecutor gotta take on the case and make sure that they know exactly what is going on, because it's not just the separate video. There could be some instances of this having been happening for a long time with the child. Because I talking about the child leaving home.
What neighbor said what's seen in the video is far less than what the child goes through.
Exactly, and that's the part that concerns me too, because if there is a lot more going on, we really need to get to the bottom of it. And only the prosecutor of the state can make sure that this happens. Go in, do your investigations, speak to the people, the parents, speak to the neighbors, and make sure that you know exactly what is going on, because there could be a history of child abuse, and child abuse is a very, very serious crime.
Doc, I see insist that you are a perfect person to talk about this, because you have the African Cameroonian experience by birth, by nature, and you now have the European American experience. Now, I want to come back to the place of culture here. You know, we will say in Africa that now the parents got the right to correct the child. When the child goes like, no, I can sue you, you can be taken to court, they say, no, this is not Africa again.
And I agree with that, and that gives me, I have the background. I know our cultures, they give very strong powers to parents, and I'm not against that. I think that is actually welcome, that's good. But there should be a limit, and there is a limit, and the law is clear. And the law is not contradictory to our cultures and our traditions. Our traditions are strong parental control, which is good for a child, but there are limits, and you cannot go beyond that limit, those limits, without having punishments. And from what I see in the video and the history that seems to be behind it, the parent has gone far, far beyond the limit. And there is such thing, even within our cultures, there is child abuse. So there is a limit there that you shouldn't cross, and if you cross it, you should be punished and you should be penalized.
Now I want to say, ask this last question before we move on to the next issue. You are talking about the place of the law and who can take further actions legally. You said the prosecutor can come in directly, or it's a neighbor that has to take the action of going to the prosecutor?
The prosecutor can come in directly, because the prosecutor has to act for the state. This is something that shocks the public. And as the representative of the state, the prosecutor has to come in and act, and they can come in and act directly and take on the case and investigate and make sure that if something wrong was done, there is justice. And they need to do that. And this is, I don't want to limit myself to this specific case, because I know for a while that this happens too often, and it's not talked about. So I'm calling more systemically, more generally, to the judicial system to be more active, to make sure that they can actually go in and see what is happening and try to correct it, because we need to make sure that we go into these neighborhoods and make sure that these instances of quite crude child abuse do not happen. We have to make sure that they don't happen.
And of course, we also need your help. We have you as citizens, you as Cameroonians, and haven't traveled out of the country, gotten experience. You also need to help in other domains, and you got your field of specialty where you can help. And now the role of the diaspora, it's becoming complicated, especially in Cameroon and within the present context where we see most government officials say, for example, those who are behind the armed conflict in north and southwest regions of Cameroon are Cameroonians in the diaspora. It's gotten to a point that some people are made to believe that the diaspora cannot give anything good again to the country. What's happening?
I think it is a big mistake, and I have to remind everyone that the diaspora is large for Cameroon. We have 5 million Cameroonians outside of the borders of Cameroon, and to try to brush the big group with one characterization is a big mistake, and it's actually a disservice to the nation, because the truth is you have Cameroonians all around the world, Cameroonians who are doing groundbreaking things, Cameroonians who are experts in so many different areas, and to try to brush Cameroonians as somehow trying to do X, Y, and Z for me is a big mistake, because what we need to do is make sure that you shed the light where it belongs. And in terms of Cameroonian diaspora, the light belongs in the places where you have experts, you have people who can contribute. Because the advantage we have is that we know Cameroon, we know this country, and we know what is wrong with this country. And for some of us who have been given some gifts, we can actually make sure that we focus on coming back and helping solve those problems.
Yes, okay. On Equinoxe, for example, on Sunday I was part of one of our prestigious programs. We call it La Vérité en Face. We had as guests who was trying to segment the Cameroonian diaspora. It appeared in his analysis that the diaspora he calls the good diaspora has been silent.
It's been silent, and I really don't understand why. And I think it is a disservice to the nation once again. And I have to attribute it to the state. I feel like the Republic of Cameroon has made a decision to shed the light on a very small minority of Cameroonians who are, for some reason or another, angry and manifesting it in some different ways, and have decided to turn the light off of that diaspora that can be useful, that can be helpful, that is expert, that is resourceful, and it's a big mistake. And I don't understand why that choice, but I attribute it to the state, and it's a deliberate choice. They know why, but I think it is a big, big, fat mistake.
You are one of those good diasporas, those Cameroonians who are, like many others, making the country proud, coming out as the top ligament. That was it, right?
Thank you. Yes, in 2020, I was classified as one of the top 40 lawyers in America.
In the United States of America.
In all of America.
In all of America.
And that was the first time. This is a ranking by the American Bar Association, and that's the first time a Cameroonian of origin has been ranked at one of the top 40 in the U.S.
One of the top 40.
And the American Bar Association is about 200 years old. So by that ranking, by the fact that I'm part of that list, it is Cameroon also that's part of that list. Yeah. And you have to make sure that that's where the light is. That's what is highlighted, not necessarily the marches, which are great, can be great, or maybe not, but make sure the light is focused where it belongs. And where it belongs is where you can actually find some solutions to our deepest problems.
It's an honor to you as a person and the nation. Now, when you look at it from your lens, from your little angle, you at a point where there is some challenge of a good relationship with the state and the good diaspora, the state and the diaspora in general, or the nation and the diaspora. Where do you identify a problem, and how can it be solved, as in getting the relationship between the state and the diaspora?
I think that the state has to acknowledge and understand that the diaspora is not an enemy, because we're not. The truth is we're not. Even the people who are marching and protesting, they are trying to address an issue. They're choosing a different way to get there, but they're trying to address an issue. So from a state perspective, you have to acknowledge that there's an issue. You have to acknowledge that there are people who are mad and angry about the issue, and maybe you have to find a way to speak to them, to tell them the way you're trying to solve the issue may not be the best way. Now, from the state perspective, to make that relationship better, you have to flip your mind and understand the diaspora is not the enemy, because it is not the enemy. Diaspora is an asset. One of the countries I visit a lot and I work a lot in is Israel.
Israel.
And there's nothing bigger in Israel than its diaspora, because they understand the force of its diaspora. They understand the way the diaspora can come in and help them solve. It has been the case throughout their history. So Cameroonian government has to understand that diaspora is not the enemy. We are not in conflict. In fact, we know the deep issues that our nation face,
like the Anglophone crisis, and of course, wherein many lives have been lost. Now, when you get the issue like the recent report that just came from the northwest region of Cameroon, where we had 5 persons who died in an attack, how does it make you feel? The crisis has been is long overdue. Others will put it that way. It is
very heartbreaking, and it is a crisis that's lasting too long. It's been too long. It is time to get to an end. How do we get to an end? We need to sit and talk. And that, when I say we, I'm not speaking me personally, but I need the state to take ownership, the state to take leadership, and make sure that the people who need to sit down and talk. We need to move forward. The effects have been too long. Too many people have died. Too many people have been displaced. I feel like we are at the end of the rope. It is time for this to end, and the state has to take its leadership and make sure that we put an end to this.
And of course, we end with that one. It's a strong one. The state has to take a leadership, and of course, you know, you've been going all through. But maybe before we go, how did you get to the top 40s in the United States of America?
It is more. It all has to do with the clients I work with the kinds of cases I've won, the kinds of causes I defend in courts, and my background basically. And it was a very big year for me. I was involved with big transactions in the U.S. So being part of the top 40 lawyers in America is really humbling, but at the same time, it's a testament to the kind of work that needs to be done in order to get to the highest levels. And I'm lucky to be there. I'm thankful to be there. But my job now is to make sure that we get more people there.
And we are lucky to have you. We thank you that you respected our invitation.
Well, thank you very much, and Happy New Year.
And ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so very much that you are kind and attentive. You stay with us all from the start to the end of this news. Remember, with Equinoxe Television, interesting programs are just ahead.